Good morning. Today we're going to focus on waking up and in-bed meditation. And this is really just about savoring this experience, just being able to wake up and open to and just savor and witness the experiences that are given to us on this new day. So it's just being sensitive, it's just being aware and making space in our morning for this kind of practice. It doesn't need to be every morning, but I find it really beneficial to get a conscious check-in in the morning with myself. And that can be any number of different things that can go into this practice. It can be a very simple body scan in the morning. It can be an emotional awareness check-in. It can be a really deep practice that goes into a physical stretching practice like yoga or something. It can be lots and lots of different things. And I'm going to give you a bit of an example of a few fundamentals that you can go and run with yourself and turn into whatever morning practice resonates with you. So usually we have the, oh no, I want to go back to bed, which can be caused by many different factors, and it can have also many different ways of acting on it. But I guess you can relate to that feeling. And then there's the ding, bouncing up and ready to charge. And there's variations on that one as well of what we do with it and how we dance our day after that experience. And this practice is just savoring that. Just as we wake up, it doesn't need to be with the eyes open. I often do it with the eyes closed. And just experiencing what's happening in the body right now. If you want to make yourself comfortable, close your eyes down. We can go through a bit of an experience together. So we're just being aware of how the body's speaking to us in this moment. Is there anything that stands out today? Is the body refreshed? Is the body not so refreshed? Just witnessing how that feels. I often start with a few breaths, just being conscious of the breath. And then also in the morning, especially laying on my left-hand side, I can feel my heart as well. So just taking a few moments to notice how that feels. These are all examples of ways that we can become sensitive when we wake up in the morning. Noticing if the emotional body is speaking this morning. Just relaxing into the bed and allowing ourselves to witness. Now noticing what's happening in the emotional body there. Any details anywhere across the body. Are we carrying something? Are we creating something? What's happening in this moment? Is the body calling for anything in particular? Is there any aches, any tension, anything that needs our attention today? And as we do this practice, I find it interesting to notice my level of hydration. That's one of the things that especially when I'm on the road, I check in with a lot. And just noticing if the body's thirsty. What are the qualities of the breath as far as dryness go? Is it a dry breath? Are these dry lungs, or are they moist? And what are they asking for? Just noticing there. And often my morning meditation is broken up by what my body's calling for as far as the digestive system. And often what I'll do is I'll have a little bit of an awareness check-in, and then just staying present and just surrendering into that and just allowing it to unfold and be experienced. And then I'll have the digestive system say, time to go to the bathroom. And then I'll go to the bathroom, get cleaned up, brush my teeth even, and then I'll often come back for a little bit of an extended check-in, which turns into a workout and yoga and maybe a seated meditation as well. So this all tends to come out as a transition. But I find that this just check in with the self as I'm waking up is a key part of that, because it helps me to just start that ramp of sensitivity very early. Because if I get into a habit of just charging outside or diving into something, I can skip past a bit of a morning self-check. So this allows me to just honor that and slow down a bit, take a few extra breaths in the morning, and make space for a practice. And I can't do this every morning, and it doesn't take long, but sometimes I just have urgent stuff that needs addressing, and I've slept in or whatever. I can take a breath in that case and charge on with it, but I haven't got the time to do the extended practice like what we're talking about today. Now, it's obviously going to depend on your day. What I tend to do is, if I have something urgent in the morning that really needs my attention within the next few hours, I'll set an alarm, even if I'm in my morning practice, just so I know that I'm going to be up and prepared in that time. So if if I need to be up in, say, 20 minutes, and I want to go have a lying down in bed meditation for a bit and really allow everything to just relax and surrender and be what it is and just to be witnessed, I will set an alarm just in case I do fall asleep. So that's something to remember, that if in doubt, it's not going to hurt to set an alarm, and then you're going to be woken up if you need it. Often I don't go back to sleep when I'm doing this practice, and I also use it as a ramp into my day so that I can check, what are my priorities, what really resonates with me, how does it feel to come into the day with a certain intention, and does that really honor my needs and my priorities. So getting clear on what we really want to invest in, and does this genuinely serve the community with what I'm doing today? Like, how is all this fitting together? Because then I can dive into the day with a real true passion and fire and just honor not only this body, not only this morning, but the whole community around us. So it's a really beautiful foundation stone of my day, and I'm glad to be able to share it with you today. So I do this check-in with the body, being aware, being conscious, being open like a baby with the beginner's mind, to be able to just sit in this mind-body machine completely open to whatever it wants to show us, and just witnessing, just being here. And then I may have an urge to stretch, and that urge to stretch may turn into a different stretch. And that may turn into a little bit of a workout. And then I'll often start doing these dynamic stretches and this dynamic yoga. And then I'll sit for a bit through that in phases and really do some yin yoga in some places there, being really aware of where I'm at and what's happening, and just making space to take a few breaths and meditate in between the different movements, really. I'm just consciously taking an extra breath. Because I can, and we can't do that always, but it's really nice to be able to just savor that space in the morning, even if it's just 10 minutes. So I tend to go through this internal check-in, then start the stretching process, and that will often lead into some sort of workout. And for me, one of the beauties of this practice is that emotional clarity. I find this emotional awareness so powerful for intention setting and just generally building the habit and just the emotional resonance with certain types of feelings. So as I feel more and more empowered in my everyday life, as I feel more and more grateful and in service and in harmony with the community, then I also tend to build that in my morning and then make conscious decisions that build that habit further from my morning sit. So I'm able to be aware of what's being felt. I might get an idea of some of the influences there and just be able to surrender into fully experiencing those to really get some beautiful clarity and stability in our emotional state. And it's true for the emotional body, for the physical body with this check-in in the morning. It's a very sensitive space to be able to savor and really utilize to its fullest when we can. So another aspect of the morning meditation that I really love is taking in our awareness, and this is the big picture of the body, the emotional state, and the environment now, is how is this body relating to the ecosystem? How's it relating to this room? How does it feel to be in this room? Are there reminders of things in this room? Am I drawn into certain things with this room? Do I resonate with the room? Do I not? Am I feeling comfortable? Like, what are the different dynamics going on here? Because this means that we can make conscious choices moving forward. And at least we're not blindly being driven by some of these impacts on our body. We're actually becoming more sensitive to them. And it's amazing how simple it is. And I'm noticing this because right now I'm traveling a lot, is the environment where I'm in, whether I like it or not, has a massive impact on the emotional body, whether it's something that I'm personally invested in or whether it's just something that I'm mindfully aware of in the environment. But the room itself does have an impact. It's part of this whole ecosystem that I'm living in. So speaking of ecosystems, what happens when we look outside? If we've got a window in the room, when I look outside of that, how am I relating to the rest of the environment? How is it impacting me? Am I having, a resistance to the cold? Am I excited about the cold? Am I feeling a bit exposed and vulnerable with the openness of outside? Am I feeling a bit claustrophobic when I look outside through a small window? What are all of these different dynamics? And this process isn't so much about making them important or judging anything, really. It's more about just being able to consciously witness these things and take a few extra breaths to savor them without needing to make them anything. So this just opens up our sensitivity and awareness and lets us make conscious choices, but from a loving place. We can take all of this in and be aware of it. And the more mindfulness we practice in general, whether it's in bed, dancing, sitting, however you want to do it, the more we start to be able to have this peaceful, surrendered, engaged, conscious, grateful, loving awareness in everything we have, and making decisions and making conscious choices from that is infinitely powerful. So if you can get that one ability to be able to practice that from your morning sit, then that's perfect. That's phenomenal, actually. That's a huge return on investment for me. And I just feel like it's part of general body maintenance. This, even if it's a 5-minute check-in with ourselves in the morning, just to be able to honor the body, give it some love, give it some self-massage, give it some stretches. If it wants a workout, give it a workout. If it wants to rest today, like, it's fine to rest. Sometimes rest can be procrastination as well. That's a nice question to ask ourselves, especially in this open, accepting, loving space of a mindfulness practice in the morning, to be able to ask ourselves some of those important questions of what are these motivations, what's happening for us, how are we relating to technology, what happens when we look at our computer first thing in the morning, what happens when we look at our phone, and this can change from day to day. So this is basically a glimpse of what it's like to do a morning in bed meditation practice. Often for me it takes about half an hour to an hour if you include my workout as well, which my morning meditation, after about 20-30 minutes of sitting or lying in bed and exploring these things, I tend to somehow flow into a workout. And that is really, really valuable for me. My body really adores being respected in that way, and being able to have those basic needs of movement and health taken care of at the beginning of the day. And sometimes we might have stories pop up in our heads about things. We might have really important things. So one great tool that I've been able to develop out of doing this practice is, I've only got 5 minutes, like barely 5 minutes. Now I'm going to sit and do a practice, and how much value am I going to get out of that? With practice, I've been able to do that. I've been able to say, okay, I've got 5 minutes, let's set an alarm, and just completely dive into the practice with all I've got, and still be able to make it on time to whatever I'm doing. So it's beautiful to be able to integrate these into your day, and just to explore and allow this process to take it where it needs to take you. Just being aware of your state this morning, and giving your body some care, being gentle, being graceful, being grateful. This breath, this body, this morning, thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's a beautiful way to wake up. I often wake up with my meditation starting with not the or the it's the thank you. It's such a gift to have this body buzzing with life, to be able to take this breath, to be able to feel all of these dynamic emotions, this excitement, this fear of the unknown a little bit right now, this body wanting to move but not really wanting to overdo it, this feeling of gratitude for my relationships and the fleeting amount of time that I get to spend with the people that I'm staying with right now. And man, I feel a little bit of tension in the face from lying down here and smiling and talking to you guys. So I think that's enough for today's in-bed meditation. There's so many ways you can take this. I really want to give you some examples and give you space to be able to just run with this and play with it and see what works for you. I also want to go through a bit of a intention setting in bed meditation that I absolutely love. I may do that next week, but I feel like that really comes from a strongly developed, or at least a little bit of practice in just the general in-bed meditation first. So thank you so much for your time. Absolutely love you guys. And I'm going to savor a few more moments right here in this body, stretched out, relaxed. And just here now and in this bed. Thank you. I love you. Mwah. Ciao.